I got the assignment to check out the Nostalgic Glass Wet Plate Studio, and Shane Balkowicz is one of the instructors now with a partnership of BSC and teaching a class. And this is a phenomenal studio, Shane.
Oh, thank you.
Just really, really cool here. And I said wet plate, and a lot of people are like, what in the world is that? I'm sure, right? But we actually had you on North Dakota Today probably about a year ago to demonstrate or at least show us and tell us what it is. But just to recap, what is wet plate?
Well, we're making images out of pure silver on glass from the 1851 process that Frederick Scott Archer invented. So this is like the second known photographic process. So the daguerreotype was before the wet plate process. So in 1851, Frederick Scott Archer figured out how to make people's images on glass or tin, which was very revolutionary. Before that time, you had to have a painting or a drawing or some kind of sketch done of your loved one. In 1851, for the first time, we were able to take photographs of people.
1851.
Yes.
And so now it's an iPhone, but this is a little bit more involved, I guess, with the photography. You actually have to sit super, super still. Unlike, I think you were describing, iPhone is what,
1/60th of a second. And in my process, the exposure times are 10 seconds. So if you do the math, it's pretty simple. It's 600 times longer to make a wet plate than the iPhone that we use as a modern day camera. But
now once you develop it or print it out in modern day, these photos last a very, very long time.
Yeah, they're made out of pure silver. So silver doesn't degrade. It's a heavy metal, right? So I tell the students when they come in, if you put a silver spoon on the ground and you come back 500 years from now, what's on the ground? And the answer must be a silver spoon. And you can't say that for paints and pigments and inks of all kinds. They all fall apart. Even if you just go to the Louvre and take a real close look at those paintings that are 300-400 years old, you'll see that they're deteriorating. That's not what happens with wet plate.
Does it not tarnish at all then?
That's a good question. So silver does tarnish. Anyone who's owned a silver ring or a silver cup or something like that, my grandmother used to have silver spoons on the wall. She would have to every year polish them because they would become tarnished. What happens is oxygen gets to the silver and turns it black. So I have to varnish all my plates. So I put a layer of shellac over the silver molecules, locking out the oxygen. And then we get a completely archival.
Okay, so you don't even have to wipe it down or anything.
No, once it's varnished, it's completely archival. It'll be, it'll look the same as it did the day it was created, hundreds of years from now.
Now, I think you have a dark room back there. I think that's the first one I've ever stepped in the back room. I thought that was really cool, but this wet plate method also kind of brings that back rather than just printing a simple picture nowadays.
Yeah, so you do need a dark room available to you, like not somewhere. You have to have a dark room within probably 50 feet of where you're photographing. So when I went down to Standing Rock and photographed Greta Thunberg, I had a portable dark room that I climbed into with little red lights and did all my chemistry. So I mean, if you can about imagine how many iPhone photographs would be taken today if you had to have a darkroom right next to you to capture them, the answer would be none.
Oh, that's incredible.
We do have to have a darkroom. And I'm proud to bring this class to BSC because BSC has not had a darkroom associated with it in over 15 years. So, the students are going to be coming into this studio on every Thursday for 2 hours and learning this process first.
And so let's keep talking about this class because it's credit or non-credit. There is a little bit of a difference there, but it's basically, if you're taking the non-credit version, that's people with just maybe a hobby or just an interest can come take your class, and it's limited, right? There's only so many people.
Correct.
Then versus a credit, that's maybe if you're going down the photography realm.
Or if you just need an art class or something that you're interested in, you want to do something fun in college. I mean, college should be fun. We should try to learn new things that we haven't seen before. And I guarantee you, anyone who signs up for my class, they're going to see things that they don't see in the modern day anymore.
Even the studio here is just something I've never seen before, and it's super incredible. And the fact that students can come here is super interesting. And where the interest level lies is to walk me through the class, Shane. How many weeks is it? Then what's like week 1, 2?
It's going to be a 16-week class. We're going to start with just learning about what light is. And like this is a natural light photography studio. So this is how they didn't have electricity in 1851. So you weren't taking photographs at night. So they're going to learn what light is. They're going to learn about composition. We're going to do some things like make pinhole cameras. So I'm going to show them how to make a camera just out of a little tin can with no lens whatsoever. They're going to tie that to a tree for 15 weeks, and we're going to bring it back and see what they captured. They're going to learn contact printing, which is the first way that people actually made prints. So they're going to learn that, and then we're going to slowly work into learning this historic process. So the final grade will be to have to be able to make your own wet plate independently in this studio.
Oh, that's amazing.
Using the resources that are here. But it's going to be, we're going to learn about the history of photography. We're going to understand analog photography for the first time. A lot of these students won't even know what that is. And I want to explain all of this and find a passion in and these kids and these students about, you know, these images, especially now with the artificial intelligent images, we're making images like
so
that.
Much different.
And it's not any historical record. And what we're doing here is we're making historical records. So I've made over 5,400 of these plates over 12 years.
Wow.
I've got plates in 96 museums around the world, including the Smithsonian, the Library of Congress. And we're just trying to capture history. And we need to understand the importance of the importance of photography.
Right. It's so important too. I mean, these images are just amazing, truly is. What is the thing? They say an image is over 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
And it speaks wonders. Shane, we're going to toss this to commercial break, but we'll be right back to keep talking to you right after this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're back with more after this.